I want to encourage you, since we're in this very fine institution that connects ethics and religion and international affairs, and presumably has an optimistic scenario for itself, how do we get out of 8 years of Trump, or how do we restore a political process that can project forward a different America, where we actually return to a positive attitude to immigration, to diversity, if you will, to a pluralistic notion, some respect for education and for expertise. I'm worried about what this administration is going to do to science and to the conduct of basic research. And how do we turn this around?
I think we're going to have to think about rethinking a lot of institutions and how they work in better ways. I mean, one interesting pattern for me, if you look at America, is that we have a number of systems that cost more than the equivalent systems in other countries, but don't yield equivalent results. We actually spend a good deal more on education than most other countries. We don't, it's not clear that that has brought us the results we would like.
It hasn't.
It costs, you know, we talk about French labor unions and all of this, but it's about 1/10 as expensive to build a kilometer of subway tunnel in Paris as it is in New York.
Healthcare.
Healthcare is another one. Our legal system and our permitting system, you know, so we have all of these barnacles on the ship of state, and we need to think a little bit about, you know, how do you sort of take it out? There was a word for this, where you clear the hull, clean the hull, and then put it back in the water. So one thing for example, I think about with healthcare is right now we're having the huge fight between Obamacare and Trump care. But the reality is our healthcare, it costs so much to deliver healthcare, and we need so much healthcare, and we're going to need more as the older population continues to grow. We're not going to be able to pay for the healthcare that we need and want, no matter whether it's, you know, what the system is, what the label is, or the method. So maybe we should be directing a lot more research into more efficient methods of healthcare delivery, probably using IT in various ways to, you know, sort of, so your watch, I mean, your doctor knows what's on your phone or whatever, you know, you're monitoring. Who knows? But I think the idea that medical research involves simply chasing after new pills, which can then be sold at very high prices, I actually think we might get better outcomes in other ways. In education, our school system, which is, let's not forget, when people talk about your experience with the government, for most Americans, their most intense interaction with government is their time in the public schools, the most hours. You look at what so many kids know at the end of 12 years of formal education, you wonder what has been going on in all of those hours. How could you possibly only learn this much in 6 hours a day, 180 days a year for 12 hours? What possibly could be happening? The school system we have now was basically developed to help an agricultural population adjust to urban and factory life, literally. You learn to move by the bell and the clock. You don't work by the rhythm of the sun. You sit in rows, you follow instructions, and if you don't screw up, you get a small step promotion at the end of the year. That's very much like life in the civil service. It's very much like life in the standard industrial or corporate bureaucracy of the 20th century. All right, that is not the way life works now out of school. I certainly see in seniors I work with at Bard, there's a real sense of, I've been educated to live one way, and I'm about to go out into a world where it's entirely different. And I think we do a better job at Bard than most places do with this, but it's you've been institutionalized into a system that rewards good behavior in a predictable way, and has taught you to operate in a very stable system, which the rest of the economy isn't.
The irony in the American system, I don't totally disagree, but there's some things I do disagree. The American system is really quite ineffective below the university level. One of the ironies is that the university level is remarkably good and more innovative and flexible than its competitors in other parts of the world. So actually, anywhere, what happens in college and university is more likely to be connected constructively with the need to negotiate life, as the statistics will bear out in terms of unemployment and underemployment. But the real problem is, I agree with you, is the elementary and secondary system is remarkably ineffective.
Yes.
I mean, that's why community college is a catastrophe, because you have, a very low percentage of completion, because it's remedial, which means stuff is being done in community college that could have been done in the high school and middle school years.
Or basically we're saying, we failed completely with 12 years of having you in a classroom. Now we're going to sit you down for 4 more years and fail for 4 more.